All right, thank you, Bill. Now, in the words of Michael Buffer, it's time for the main event. So, I'm going to introduce our main speaker. The Honorable Tom Dale is the 28th Mayor of the City of Nampa. Elected into office in 2002, he is currently serving his third term as mayor. His service to our nation and our community includes tours of duty in the United States Navy, the United States Air Force National Guard, and service on the Nampa City Council. He has served as president of the Association of Idaho Cities, chairman of the board for the Metropolitan Planning Organization, chairman of the board for Valley Regional Transit, and chairman of the College of Western Idaho Advisory Council. He also serves on the Nampa Chamber of Commerce Board and the Salvation Army Board. He is a graduate of Northwest Nazarene University, probably college at the time, and earned a master's degree in music education from the University of North Texas. His background and experience include rancher, business owner-operator, entrepreneur, teacher at every level from kindergarten to college, motivational speaker, and professional musician. He is a private pilot and enjoys dirt bikes, bicycles, hunting, and fishing, and skiing. I have a real quick story to share. It's off the script. I had a business partner visiting us from France last year, and we took his wife and his two kids to the Canyon County Fair, because what else do you do when you come in from Paris, right? And they had the pleasure of meeting Tom Dale, our mayor, and Mayor Nancolis. They thought that was really exciting. We get our food, we sit down, and the singing of the national anthem starts. And guess who's singing? Our mayor, Tom Dale, and Mayor Nancolis. And that totally blew their mind. And I've got to tell you, it's really cool to have somebody who cares so much about our community, our city, and it's really my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to please join me in welcoming the Honorable Tom Dale, Mayor, City of Nampa.
Wow, what a great looking crowd. How was lunch? It was good. You know, I understand that it has not been this cold for this long in Nampa since about 1989. It feels like a normal winter to me though. It's magical, I love it. Of course, a lot of you think I'm crazy, but that's all right, we'll go with it. Dan, thank you for that great introduction. Really appreciate that. And Debbie, where's Debbie? Debbie's right here. Thank you for the work you and your wonderful staff do in presenting and hosting this event. Every year, the Chamber of Commerce does such a wonderful job. And Civic Center staff, Marie Baker and everybody, Lyle back here who's making us all sound good. Thank you for the work you do to make this possible. I want to recognize our Nampa City Council members. Council President Martin Thorne is right here. Stephen Krin. Steve, where are you at? Are you here? Don't see Steve. Pam White, I know, is right over here. Saw her. And Bob Henry, I saw him earlier. You got to stand up. You don't get to sit down. Come on. All right, let's give him a hand. We are honored to have several other elected officials here, and I want you to know that these elected officials are public servants, and they work together as a team, making Treasure Valley the place that it is, and that is what we are. We are a team of elected officials. We do a lot of work together, and I'd like to just recognize those who are here. I know Dan recognized them earlier, but if you're here, would you please stand? I know Dave Beater, Mayor of Boise, is here, and Tammy DeVere of Meridian. Mayor John Edwards of Garden City is here, and newly sworn in Sheriff Karen Donahue, and newly sworn in County Commissioner Craig Hansen, along with Kathy Alder and Steve Rule. And Brian, thank you for being here. Now Garrett is on his way. He got stuck in a traffic jam on the interstate or something, and so when he comes here and he walks in, he'll try to sneak in the back. But we must not let that happen. And so when Garrett gets here, I'll acknowledge him, and everybody just spontaneously, right, I'm totally unplanned, stand and give him a standing ovation, all right? Make him feel very welcome. Well, Northwest Nazarene President Dr. David Alexander and the College of Western Idaho President Dr. Bert Glandon, as well as Dr. Tom Michelson, Superintendent of Nampa Schools, are here. Thank you for your commitment. Let's just give them a hand for their great work. And I want to recognize the Consul of Mexico. Is Ricardo here? Does Ricardo make it? I know that Diego is here, so thank you. Where are you guys at? Where'd you guys get to? There somewhere? Oh, right over here. All right, look at this guy here. Jared Nampa. Garrett and I have a really special relationship. We are neighboring cities and neighboring the two major cities in Canyon County, and we have so much that we work together on. That is what makes our communities great, the partnership that we have. Thanks, Garrett, for being my counselor and my brother from another mother. Well, this is the 12th year I've had the opportunity to stand before you and talk about the state of the city of Nampa. It is a great honor to serve as your mayor, and I am humbled by your trust, your confidence, and your support. But the credit really belongs to the team. The successes we have seen are a result of teamwork. Local government is truly a team sport, and I am immensely proud to be leading the best team, community, businesses, you're all involved, and government that any mayor could hope for. 2012 was a remarkable year. One of the most challenging our team has seen in many years. And I got to tell you, 2013 is going to have many of the similar challenges. Reduction in revenues, increased demand for services, uncertainty at the national level. Who can predict that? All work to create tension and unrest. That being said, I am confident that the state of the city is strong, and we have good reason to remain optimistic about our future. This address is entitled, Our People, Our Progress, Our Path Forward. The state of the city is strong because of the strength of our people. We are blessed with incredibly talented staff in all departments. You won't find a more dedicated, committed, caring group of professionals anywhere. They are the ones who really keep Nampa moving forward. They work for you, and I am deeply gratified to lead the team that is filled with this kind of people. We have a number of our city employees here, and I know you've already had them stand, Dan. You took all my thunder away from me, but I'm going to have them stand again so we can say thank you in a very real way. City employees, would you please stand? Remain standing. Remain standing. And I want to thank Dr. David Peterman and his great team at Primary Health for sponsoring the lunches for these people so they could be here today. Would you stand and let us thank you? Right here. All of you, stand up here. All of you. Thank you. We are equally blessed with phenomenal community partners. NNU, CWI, our public and private schools, our many churches, the Boys and Girls Club, the Chamber, Centennial Job Corps, I could go on and on, the Mentoring Network, and the hundreds of people who volunteer to make things happen. The strength of Nampa is our people, and it's a strength like no other. I'm going to go off script here for just a moment, because I know we are a city who historically comes together to meet needs in our community. And we've got a few needs right now that need some special attention. You know the struggles that our school district is having. Idaho Press Tribune led the charge to start Supply Our Schools, SOS, a fund to help put supplies in the hands of teachers in classrooms. That drive is still moving forward. The Nampa Schools Foundation has taken it over. They're moving it forward. We need your help. They need your help. Our kids need your help. So Nampa School Foundation board members, if you're here, just wave your hand up there. There are several around here. Talk to some of these folks. These are all tax deductible and Idaho State income tax credit available for this stuff. Second thing we need help on, you've read in the newspaper that we have a problem getting kids to the phenomenal after-school programs that are available in our city through the Boys and Girls Club, the Nampa Recreation Center, and the Salvation Army. Our Nampa Fire Department union, where's our fire department guys? There's some of them here, aren't they? They're over there. Carl's over here. Where are you guys? If you're in the fire department, just raise your hand. These guys have voted to commit $1,000 to help get kids from schools to the after-school programs. And I've stepped up and I'm committing some of my funds to sponsor a student. It takes about $1.80 a day to get these kids from the school to their after-school program. That's about $180 to $200 for the rest of the year. We could cover that cost with the people who are right here in this room and make sure that our kids get to those after-school programs. We can't let this fall through the cracks. So please help out. Talk to the Boys and Girls Club, Mitch Minetti, or anybody in the school. They'll help you figure out how to make those donations. The strength of Nampa is you. Last year, more than 27,000 volunteer hours were documented. And this doesn't take into account the many hours spent by people who serve on our boards and commissions throughout the city. Would everyone who serves on a board or commission in the city just please stand right now? Let's see where you are. Please stand. All right? There's quite a few of us around here, over here. Keep standing, keep standing, keep standing, keep standing. Don't be shy. Now, everyone in the room who has volunteered in any capacity over the past year for any program within our community or even outside of the community, would you please stand? That's a pretty good crowd. Now, anybody who wishes they had volunteered last year, would you please stand? You're all sitting down. Well, thank you so much. You make us strong. We can be optimistic about the future because great work is being done every day towards sustaining Nampa as a full-service city, the community of choice now and into the future. We have a strategic plan to move Nampa forward, and I have to tell you, it is working. I'm reminded of a book by Marcus Buckingham titled, "One Thing You Need to Know." The purpose of the book is to help the reader identify the principal thing that they do in their business. What is the main thing? What is the one thing they must always keep in mind? After 17 years of working in the city government in Nampa, I can tell you, without a doubt, the one thing is people. They are the main thing. They are the only reason we exist. At the end of the day, everything we do, large and small, from talking one-on-one with individuals to talking to great groups such as this, to fixing a pothole, to building a new library, it's all to serve the people of Nampa. Let me tell you about some of our people. Doris Hayward works in the city clerk's office. In December, a 90-year-old gentleman approached the counter with an issue with his health insurance. Now, you all, I hope, know that the city clerk's office does not have anything to do with people's personal health insurance providers. But Doris took the time out of her day to listen. Seems that his wife had been in the hospital recently, and she was now in a care facility. He'd gotten behind in his insurance payment, and he was worried that they didn't have coverage at the time. Well, Doris called the insurance provider, who assured this gentleman that he indeed was still covered and everything was okay, just get the check in, everything's fine. Doris says, when it was all over, he thanked me profusely, and I, being a non-hugger, actually gave him a hug. He told me, that's all I needed was a hug. Pretty good payment for a job well done. Doris, stand up. Let's just, I know you don't want to, but Doris, you got to. I get excited working with kids, and the Nampa Mayor's Teen Council gives kids in our city an opportunity to really be involved in their city. They participated in many public service, community service projects last week they even did some, I'm sure, and produced 2 public service announcements on crosswalk safety last year. I want to thank the sponsors who allow us to take kids to Washington, D.C. every year for the National League of Cities Conference. Without these sponsors, that wouldn't be possible. You are adding to the kids' lives in our community. You are making them aware that they matter and that their opinions valued. Thank you so much. Support these sponsors, please. There's a number of these of our kids here today, Teen Council folks, a couple of tables back here. Guys, stand up, would you? Stand up. Yeah, give me a little hand. We had 5 or 6 of these kids over in the Capitol yesterday doing some lobbying for the American Heart Association. It was a great day. They were cold, I understand, but they had a good time. Thanks, guys. You can be seated. I want to tell you about one special kid. Daniel Garcia came to our Nampa Mayor's Teen Council as a quiet, rather shy young man, extremely nervous to talk in front of people at all. He had a hard time imagining himself as a college student, although he really wanted to go someday. In his 2 years on council, Daniel grew into a confident leader. He was elected to the executive team last year. Through his work, he gained the courage and confidence to speak before his peers and led the committee that wrote the 2 PSAs on crosswalk safety. Daniel also developed a presentation on his experience with Teen Council and shared it in many classrooms at Nampa High School, encouraging his fellow students to join. His leadership opportunities and participation allowed him to receive a number of scholarships. This young man who thought that college was for other students is a first member. Sorry. He's the first member of his family to ever go to college. He's just completed. He's not here today because he's up in Moscow at the University of Idaho. Surrounded by a number of other Mayor Teen Council members who are making smart choices with their lives and continue to make a difference. 4 years ago, Kent Lovelace, one of our code enforcement officers, while working on a Brush Up Nampa project, noticed the roof was in really bad shape. He spoke to the homeowner about it, who said, "Yeah, I know the roof needs to be replaced, but I just got laid off from work and there's no way I can afford it right now." Well, we worked with him through our Critical Needs Repair Loan Program and were able to get his roof replaced. Since then, we have done 3 additional repair projects on his 1920s home. Because of his income level, he qualified for a 20-year deferred zero-interest loan. Without this program, the repairs would never have been accomplished. He remains extremely grateful for our helping him get these projects done. Kent, I believe you are here today. Where's Kent Lovelace? Right here. Kent, we got to recognize you. Go ahead and stand up. From the Public Works Department. These guys are the ones who keep the water flowing into your house and the other stuff flowing out, you know. To keep those sewer lines clear, we regularly have to use a high-pressure water hose to flush out the systems, so to speak. This process requires a crew from the wastewater division to take a hydro-cleaning truck to various locations throughout the city. We got a picture of that. How many people have seen that truck? It's kind of hard to miss if you see it coming down the road. On August 13, Ken Johnson and Keith Slack were driving the truck to a location on Taffy Drive when they noticed smoke coming out of a house. 2 young girls, Cheyenne and Mackenzie, were frantically trying to put out a fire on the side of their garage using pots and pans filled with water. Keith and Ken immediately decided to use the hydro cleaning truck and its high-pressure water to help. The fire was quickly extinguished, and they stayed with the girls until the fire department arrived. Later that day, the homeowner called and requested that they come back to his house because he wanted to thank them in person for saving their home. Ken and Keith, I believe you are here. Would you please stand? Where are you guys? Thank you. Just a couple more stories. Officer Aaron Coleman recently came upon a family who was panhandling. Rather than just shoo them away, he listened to them, talked with them. He was so moved by their story that he ended up buying them all hot chocolate. And later, he and his wife bought Christmas presents for the 3 children. Officer B.J. Coho came upon a stalled vehicle up on the interstate last August. He spoke with the gentleman who was from out of state and found out that he needed a new tire, but because it was so late, there's no way he could get one that night. And he was just going to stay up there on the interstate and sleep in his car. Well, BJ didn't like that idea, so he took the man to a hotel, paid for the hotel room so he could have a good place to sleep that night. I know BJ's here. Is Aaron here too? Aaron's right here too? Okay, good. Stand up, guys. We want to say thank you for what you do. You know, I could stand up here and tell you stories for 3 hours, but you would all leave. And the point might be missed because the point is, this is what our people do every day. Every day. They put people first. That's one of the great things about our city. Let me shift our focus to some of the progress we've seen over the last year. Proverbs 15:22 has this bit of wisdom. Plans go wrong for lack of advice. Many counselors bring success. This is the reason we continually involve a multitude of people whenever formulating important plans for the city. Progress without a plan is just motion. If you don't have a destination in mind, any road will work. The story is told of an airliner. This is several years ago before modern navigational equipment. This airliner was flying out over the Pacific Ocean and was struck by a tremendous bolt of lightning, which knocked out all of their electrical systems, their radios, their radars, somehow even managed to fry their compass. The pilot, in an attempt to reassure his passengers, went back into the cabin and addressed them and said, "Folks, you all know we just got struck by lightning. The bad news is it knocked out all of our navigational equipment, and we really don't know where we are, and we really don't know where we're going. But the good news is we've got a tailwind and we're making great time." Well, we have a plan. And our progress is measured against that plan. It's called the Nampa Comprehensive Plan 2035. This plan was developed with the input of more than 100 citizens who over the course of several months analyzed, projected, and envisioned what Nampa should look like in the years ahead. Economic development is identified in the plan as one of the most important activities to ensure the stability and quality of life in the future. A good indicator of economic health is how much new construction is occurring and how many jobs are being created. Last year, we saw an increase in residential construction of over 140%. 2012 was a recovery year for all construction, with over $93 million permitted, an increase of nearly 40% over 2011. Now, I don't have time to go through all the projects, but let me just give you a few of them that are recognizable. Of course, we've already heard about the St. Luke's Salsa project out there, moved into their new building last year. And St. Al's project is progressing on the other side of town very well. Texas Roadhouse has been very busy since their opening. You've been there recently? You still have to wait in line to get in, right? U.S. Bank just cut the ribbon on their brand new building over on 12th Avenue. And CWI moved into the most modern community college facility in the nation. I just happen to have a press tribune here that says CWI grows up. And I want to say CWI has not grown up yet. Bert, what are they in adolescence right now? Barely. Barely. And by the way, where's the press tribune reporter? Because I think this should qualify as packing a press tribune. I don't know. Well, you know, there are many other businesses that have opened doors throughout the year. In fact, this year, I believe, and Chamber of Commerce members and ambassadors, you can help me with this. I believe we've seen more ribbon cuttings this year than any time in the last 4 or 5 years. It's been phenomenal. Lots of good progress, direction, moving towards successful business in our community this year. All of these projects have brought new jobs to Nampa. Overall, we saw good growth in jobs last year, with employment levels exceeding that of 2008. The unemployment rate for Nampa in November was 7.6, the lowest it's been since 2007. We're moving in the right direction. 2 key points in the economic development chapter identified as critical to creating a business-friendly community. Number 1, workforce development. We are extremely grateful for the institutions of higher learning that are accomplishing this goal in our community. NNU, of course, CWI, BSU, Stevens Henniker College, all of these great schools are working hand in hand with our 10, yes, you can count them, we have 10 high schools in the city of Nampa. And these institutions provide opportunities right here at home for our students to go on. That's the catchphrase, isn't it? Go on. And we need to encourage that. I think we're doing a good job. This in turn supplies prospective industrial and business investors with a trained and ready workforce. The other point I want to focus on from the plan is the goal to revitalize downtown Nampa. To accomplish this, we once again ask for the help of Nampa citizens, who along with help from staff and expert consultants developed the 24-year plan we are currently following. The plan outlined several projects and called for the creation of an urban renewal district to provide funding for the needed investment. We are in the 7th year of the 24-year plan they developed and City Council adopted. And we're making steady progress toward the stated goals. The first major project was completed this last year with the opening of the Hugh Nichols Public Safety Building. The next major project, you all know what it is, it's a new library. This project is on track for construction to begin sometime this summer. We are in the final stages of design. Thank you for the dedicated work of the Library Board, city staff, the Design Review Committee, the Planning and Zoning Commission, and our fabulous partners in this project, the Gardner Company. They are the ones who built the Ventana project that is not named on the building. Thanks, Bill Savage, for pointing that out. And the portico project in Meridian, as well as the big bank project that they're moving on right in downtown Boise right now. Dave, what floor are they on now?
7, maybe 8.
So they're getting there, aren't they? It's going up. That's great. Great partners for a community. These are private people who have come alongside the public entities to do great things in our cities. What an asset to have. Well, I want to thank the many people who are not on any of these committees who have given input into this process from all areas of expertise. Because so many have given so much and have been involved in every step of the way, I am absolutely confident that we will have a library that we can be proud of and will serve the people well for many years to come. Dr. Richard Florida, in his book titled The Rise of the Creative Class, argues that economic development isn't just about trying to get companies to move from one city to another city. It is about building the kind of communities where people want to live. Quality of place matters, especially when you're trying to attract innovative companies and the creative people who make them successful. So an important question we should be asking ourselves is this: is Nampa the kind of place people want to live? The answer is a resounding yes. People often approach me in D&B Supply or Les Schwab Tires. By the way, my two favorite stores in town. In the grocery store, in church, or just in a restaurant while I'm trying to eat, or walking down the street. They want to tell me a story about why they like living in Nampa. Last month, a lady shared with me her opinion that Nampa was one of the safest and easiest cities she'd ever been in just to simply drive around. She was referring to some of the changes in traffic routing that have been made recently in our city. These changes are the result of study and innovative thinking on the part of our traffic division, as well as good suggestions received from people who drive the roads every day. For example, in October, I got a call from Dave Edmark. You recognize that name, right? Edmark Chevrolet. He asked me to come down because he wanted to, down to his shop because he wanted to show me a traffic problem. And he said, why can't we make the left-hand turn going from Eastgate Boulevard onto Idaho Center Boulevard a double left? Traffic was backing up there pretty terribly. I think a lot of it's the fault of all the people going to CWI. That's okay. Well, I thought it was a good idea, so I presented the idea to our Public Works Department, our Traffic Division. They studied the idea and said, you know, this is going to work. So they made the change, and it is working well today. Better flow through that area. This is the way it's supposed to work. Working together, we move together forward. Building a livable city is an intentional, ongoing team activity. Here's some more progress reports. 12 years ago, the direction of our downtown was downwards. Deterioration and decline. That was unacceptable. Through intentional effort, community development block grant investment, and hard work by downtown business owners, that direction has been reversed. We're not to the goal line yet, but we're making steady progress in the right direction. The construction of the new library downtown will accelerate that progress. 12 years ago, we looked down the dark tunnel of increasing illegal gang activity in our community. Do you remember those days? You guys reported it in the paper. Drive-by shootings were pretty normal. Pretty common. Totally unacceptable. Through intentional investment in police officers, partnering with other Treasure Valley cities, local and federal law enforcement agencies, and the U.S. Attorney's Office, that direction has been reversed. Crime statistics over the past several years show consistent decreases. And that direction continued last year with a 6% decrease in overall crime. Folks, this is a commitment to the people of Nampa from which we must not back down. 10 years ago, we took a hard look at the issue of domestic violence in our midst and the difficulty victims were having receiving services. Unacceptable. Through the intentional efforts of Rebecca Lovelace, Angela Weeks, and many partners, the Nampa Family Justice Center was created. The number of people they are able to help grows every year. Last year there was a 24% increase to over 3,400 intakes. Let's just give Rebecca. Rebecca's here somewhere, isn't she? Where's Rebecca? Over there. Is Angela here today? No, but Rebecca is our director out there. Let's just give her a hand for doing a great job. It's all about helping people, isn't it? Well, 8 years ago, we took a look at the sorry condition of Amity Avenue from In and U out to the newly constructed overpasses. Not acceptable. Because Nampa voters had taken on paying for the overpass out of their own pockets, we were able to apply for and receive about $8 million in federal funding to help rebuild that section of roadway. Thanks to Claire Bowman and his team's excellent work, the purchase of right-of-way for the project is on track, with 31 of the 47 properties needed now under contract, and the remainder soon to follow. Look for construction to begin on this project sometime in the fall. You know, your elected officials, your representatives and city employees work as a team for you, and we strive to be responsive to your thoughts. While we do come up with many good ideas on how to achieve desired results on our own, often the best, most creative ideas come from you. The collective brain power in the neighborhoods, in the businesses, and in the community is far greater than that just sits in City Hall. Now, don't get me wrong here. This in no way discounts the expertise and skill of our fine staff at City Hall. It acknowledges the principle of synergy. Working together, we can always generate better ideas than working separately. Last year, a local banker called up and told me that he thought he could save the city some money on a couple of city bonds. Vicki Chandler, our finance director, working with Cameron Ariel of Zions Bank, was able to take advantage of the historic low interest rates and refinance those bonds. Were we able to realize savings? You bet. $2.5 million over the course of the bond. That's the way it's supposed to work. Any Kobe Bryant fans here? Any Laker fans? Carl, of course, yeah. You know, Kobe Bryant is arguably one of the most amazing basketball players in the game today. And yet, sorry to say this, but the Lakers aren't doing too well this year. Something's not clicking right over there. It takes more than a superstar to get results and to win games. A strong, cohesive team wins the game, not a lone individual player. So keep those ideas coming. We need them. Last year, I announced the creation of the Mayor's e-news. Thanks to the great work of Charlotte Arledge, who's hiding in the back there working all this stuff that you see going on up here. Thank you, Charlotte. This has now been going out to nearly 1,000 people weekly, with stories on how the city is using the ideas and the tax dollars you provide, information on events, and other items of interest to the community. If you are not receiving this newsletter, I would encourage you to sign up using the sign-up sheets that I believe are on every table. The first week of February, we'll be launching a new city website. It will provide increased transparency in government, citizen and business engagement, and better social media integration. It will have a streamlined, easy-to-navigate design using any device, your iPhones, your iPads, your whatevers, and will include the ability to pay bills quickly and securely online. The address stays the same, cityofnampa.us. Check it out. Let's shift focus to the path forward. In developing the path forward, we need to honor the legacy of our past, our history. In line with that, this last summer, with the help of top officials from the Union Pacific Railroad, we rededicated Old Engine 616. This grand old lady worked hard for many years throughout Idaho, and now is in a much richly deserved retirement in Lakeview Park. Beautiful, isn't it? A story you'll be hearing more about in the coming weeks is the historic Mercy Hospital project. Community Development Incorporated of Caldwell has purchased this grand old building and have developed a plan to breathe new life into this historic but now derelict structure. With the help of historic preservation and low-income housing tax credits, they will create low-income senior housing in this building. These programs require a match from the city. The plan to generate the required match is to create a single block urban renewal district. It will include one property owner, one taxpayer. A portion of the new property taxes generated from their estimated $7 million investment into this project will be reimbursed to them to help pay for the needed water and sewer and sidewalk upgrades in the project. An important piece of the path forward is financial stability, conservation of precious dollars, making sure that we are efficiently doing the jobs that we need to be doing. City employees are encouraged to constantly be on the alert for ways to save money in their areas, and they are doing a good job. Let me tell you about a few of the examples. The Department of Building Safety and Facilities is responsible for 1.2 million square feet of building space. Over the past 3 years, they have been engaged in a strategic effort to implement energy efficiency upgrades in the city's buildings. And they have completed about 60% of those buildings. In large part, these upgrades have been funded by another of our fabulous community partners, Idaho Power. Mike, thank you for your investment in our city. Yeah, give them a hand. Yeah. The annual energy savings to date are over $93,000. That's $93,000 every year. Think about it. In 10 years' time, if my math is correct, that's almost $1 million. Earlier this year, I asked Michael Foos to work with the Vehicle Maintenance Division to identify vehicles in the fleet that were either underutilized or not being used at all. They found about a dozen vehicles fitting that description. Well, these vehicles have been liquidated, freeing the city from paying for maintenance and insurance on equipment not being used. They are currently working on a total fleet management system that will ensure the city gets the highest and best use from our investment in vehicles and equipment. As you know, the city of Nampa has been involved in the process of planning for federally mandated wastewater treatment upgrades. In formulating the path forward, we once again called upon the citizens to be involved. And you have responded by creating a solid plan. In late October, we learned of an opportunity to take advantage of the DEQ revolving loan fund to help pay for the $28 million first phase. The challenge? The application needed to be in DEQ's hands by the end of the calendar year 2012, complete with either an election or judicial confirmation authorizing the city to apply for the loan. It was too late to go to an election, so the only path forward was through judicial confirmation. Now, there were some folks that thought, because of the short timeline, this task was impossible. Our legal team, led by Terry White, and our public works team, led by Michael Foos, accomplished the impossible. On December 20th, the judge agreed that the project was ordinary and necessary and approved the request. 1 week later, the application was hand-delivered to DEQ. Potential savings to the ratepayers in Nampa, $7.5 million. That's a total of $11 million that will remain in the hands of Nampa families and businesses. Our people are using their talents and abilities to move the city in the right direction. I discovered a book last year that's titled The Third Alternative by Stephen Covey. We're studying this on our department head level with the intent to learn how to do things differently. It's not business as usual. We live in a different climate than we ever have. The book has been called The Most Compelling Approach for Addressing the Most Challenging Issues of the Day. If I if I had a magic wand and could wave it and make something happen, I would make this book required reading for every legislator in the state and every congressman at the federal level. We need to move forward with working together. This is not new stuff. It's old, good stuff that we need to be reminded of. There's a big discussion going. One of the biggest discussions in the legislature this year is what to do about the personal property tax or the business equipment tax. This is the kind of collaboration, the kind of attitude, the kind of working relationship we need to find solution to this problem, to this issue. And I believe as we listen to one another, as we work with this, we can find a way to solve this issue without damaging schools and cities and counties, and still provide a meaningful encouragement to our business community. This book deals with the principle of synergy. Now, synergy is when the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. When applied to finding answers and solutions to the challenge we face in building a community, it requires an inclusive process that seeks input and ideas from many people. In doing so, we can generate new and better ways of doing business. With this in mind, in the next few weeks, I'm going to ask our city council members to consider a change in the council structure. Idaho state law allows municipal governments to have 4 or 6 council members. When Nampa was incorporated in 1886 with just about 100 people, they chose to have 4 people elected to represent the populace. And for the past 127 years, this forum has served the city well. We are now approaching 84,000 in population. Tammy, I think we're still the 2nd largest city. I know you're catching up to us. But it's not really a race, is it? No, okay, good. But with our population approaching 84,000, perhaps it's time to move to a 6-member council. There are 3 steps to this process. First, the council must vote to authorize an election to be held of the general population of the city. Next, that election must be held, and if the vote is yes, then at the next city election, an additional 2 seats would be available for candidates. Have you ever thought about what really gets your motor running? What really excites you, turns you on, gives you the energy to get up out of bed every morning and face the day? Well, I find cars pretty exciting. This is a picture, well, actually I find anything with a motor exciting. Airplanes, boats, motorcycles, lawnmowers. This is my 1955 Studebaker, President. I like to tell folks that I rebuilt it last year. But really it was a team effort involving many local businesses. Brad from Les Schwab helped me take the engine and transmission out and put it back in. Bob at Nampa Auto rebuilt the engine. If you need an engine rebuilt, that's the place to go. That guy's a genius. Clark's went through the transmission. Bart down here at Duralbuilt rebuilt the starter and generator. Ken Nicodemus' shop cleaned out the radiator for me and balanced and installed the drive shaft. Dave Moody installed a new Edelbrock carburetor and got the motor running. And Ruben's Body Shop finished it all off with fixing a rust spot and polishing it up real nice and shiny. The great thing, I didn't have to leave town for any of this stuff. It all occurred right here in Nampa. You don't even have to go to Boise now for Costco, do you? I mean, wasn't that a great move? Dave, nothing against Boise, but many people have said, you know, I don't go to Boise unless I have to anymore. In fact, I rarely go. It's a nice town. We like it. That's good stuff, but you know what really excites me? What really gets me going is working with a great city team that knows how to treat people right and get things done. I will be running for re-election in November because I believe that the best is yet to come. My administration has assembled a great team. Some of the hardest working people in Idaho, humble and service-minded. We have provided for the safety of our city through improvements in our fire department and our police department. Our economic development efforts are showing success. We have instituted compassionate and financially responsible solutions that support sustainable infrastructure. I desire to keep working for you to make sure that Nampa continues to grow healthy, strong, and prosperous. A great place to live for years to come, where people come first. In closing, let me share one more story with you. Christina Delgado's life had spiraled out of control, and she eventually ended up in prison. Upon release, a single mom with 4 kids to care for, and homeless, she found help at the Nampa Community Family Shelter, and then transitioned into the Catch program. While in the shelter, Christina completed her GED through College of Western Idaho. Listen to these words from Christina's Catch case manager, Christy Thomas. Christina's transformation from living in prison to a homeless shelter with her 4 children, and then to having her own home was beautiful. Christina has one of the most comfortable, family-friendly homes I have ever visited, full of joy and laughter. She worked very hard during her time at Catch, relentlessly job searching. Today she continues to demonstrate this amazing work ethic. Christina has grown in her confidence and abilities, showing that making positive, tough choices really does pay off. Thank you to the City of Nampa for supporting the Community Family Shelter and Catch Incorporated. Your support allows us to continue to help remarkable families like Christina's. And in Christina's own words, at this writing, I am a new person, confident in my abilities, strong and reliant, clean and sober for 5 years and looking forward to the new year. I can never repay all those who provided support and education on my journey. Thank you is inadequate, but thank you so much. It takes courage to change one's life. And Christina, we celebrate with you and congratulate you on making this tremendous change. Christina and her family are here with us, and I would like you to stand. In fact, why don't you just come on up here so everybody can meet you. Have a seat. I think, let's see. Let me see if I get it right. We got.
I'd just like to say thank you. It was a very hard journey, but everybody stood beside me, and I couldn't thank everybody enough. And it wasn't easy, but it was well worth it. Thank you.
And Francesca and Joelle right here, and Angel and Luis, right? Did I get it right? All right. Thank you so much. Just stay up here while we finish. And then if you would like, I would like to invite you during the time that we're going to have after this to move around to just come up and talk to these wonderful people. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, it takes courage to do the right thing, to formulate a plan and stick to it, to make adjustments as needed, and never lose faith that God is directing our individual lives and the lives of our community. I've heard it said, the highest courage is to dare to move forward in the face of adversity, choosing right over wrong, ethics over convenience, truth over popularity. These are the choices that measure your life. Travel the path of integrity without looking back, for there is never a wrong time to do the right thing. 2013 will be a challenging year of great progress and growth. I say that with full assurance because of who I am, but mostly because of who you are. We are a people with a commitment to do the right thing. We face adversity with courage and resolve. We move forward despite the temptation to hesitate or to let someone else shoulder the burden. We, together, will continue to lead this city, our city, and continue to make it safe, beautiful, and prosperous. Thank you. May God bless you, your families, your homes, your businesses, and may God bless Nampa.